Hello dear students, you are welcome in this video. Dear students, in this video we are going to discuss about a next part in the history of English literature. This is #25 history of English literature, and we have already started 18th century literature, and in 18th century literature we are going to talk about the next writer in this series, and today we have Jonathan Swift. We will discuss about the background of Jonathan Swift as a person, his personality, as a man of literary status, and then we will discuss about his major works. So let's start with Jonathan Swift. So here we have Jonathan Swift. If you look at his life, you will find his life was a living tragedy, and William J. Long very aptly compared the life of Jonathan Swift with one of Marlowe's heroes, because each of Marlowe's hero is a self-destructive kind of personality. In the same way, we find Jonathan Swift's life according to William J. Long. Now dear students, here we find that Jonathan Swift's life was a living tragedy according to William J. Long, and he compared this tragedy with the tragedy of Marlowe's heroes. As Marlowe's heroes have passion for power, but they all were self-destructive. In the same way, some things can be checked in this light that Jonathan Swift also was a self-destructive personality. He earned enormous wealth, and many times he used his literary power to satirize common humanity. Now when you look at the life of Jonathan Swift, it is very clear that his personality was a different personality than the common man, because we find he earned a lot of wealth, but last he donated all this wealth to a hospital for lunatics. And when you consider the journey of Jonathan Swift as a writer, you find he was a rare talent in literature. He got a lot of power in literature, but he used this power to satirize common humanity, to satirize the people, and he also composed so many parodies over many kind of things happened in the society. Now when you look at the life of Jonathan Swift, you find that he was born in 1667 in Dublin. But dear students, there happened an unfortunate incident in the life of Jonathan Swift. His father died before his birth, and his mother was very poor. Both Jonathan Swift and his mother had to accept the aid from their relatives, which Jonathan Swift personally don't want to take help from any other, but he had to, because his mother was very poor. Then he became private secretary to his distant relative called Sir William Temple. Sir William Temple was a statesman, and he had his own opinions regarding classics and literature. But after a few years, Jonathan Swift spent many years with Sir William Temple, but day by day he grew egoistic, and that ego one day converted into a quarrel with Sir William Temple. And after that he had to settle down in the little church of Laracor, Ireland, a country he disliked intensely. Day by day he grew egoistic, and in the last years he became insane. And dear students, it is a very unfortunate life tragedy of Jonathan Swift that he became insane in his last years, because he grew egoistic. He quarreled with many people, and there was many things regarding Jonathan Swift, that he had misogyny, he hated women, and many things were also found in his literature. So this is the life of Jonathan Swift, and he died in 1745. Now dear students, let's move to his major works. Actually, Jonathan Swift composed so many works. He composed poems, essays. He also composed periodicals. He was a political pamphleteer for both the parties, Whigs and Tories. He wrote for Whigs and Tories in those days, and his political pamphlets also were very famous, because there we found the satire very evident in the works of Jonathan Swift. Now here we have picked only two works which are relatively important today. The one is Tale of a Tub, published in 1704, and the second is Gulliver's Travel. Now in Tale of Tub you find it is a parody modeled on Christianity, the weaknesses of its three principal forms of Christianity: Catholic, Lutheran and Calvinist. Now dear students, it is a parody, it is a satire upon the religion, and he criticized the three forms of Christianity which is mentioned here. And we find there is a person who had three sons, and just he lived his court for his sons, and he has given them some instructions regarding the preservation of that court. And based on this trivial incident, you find Jonathan Swift waved the great philosophy in this parody or in this satire, that how these principal forms of Christianity became weakness for the common people. Next, this very treatise or this very parody also considered as the criticism of science and philosophy in those days. It is a satire upon science and philosophy. So these two threads are found in A Tale of Tub. Next, we have his very famous satire Gulliver's Travel. When you listen to this word Gulliver's Travel, you have a view in your mind that this is a satire, a political satire, a satire on the religion, a satire on the behavior of common people. And basically this satire is still very famous. Gulliver's Travel is a very famous novel composed by Jonathan Swift, and it is published in 1726, and there are four parts of this Gulliver's Travels. We have four voyages of a hero called Lemuel Gulliver, and this Lemuel Gulliver takes us to the different regions of the world, and here Jonathan Swift gives us the minute details of the hypocrisy of human being in each of this travel or each of this voyage. Here we have four parts. The very first voyage, we have a voyage to Lilliput. Second, a voyage to Brobdingnag. Third part, we have a voyage to Laputa, Balnibabi, Lungnag, Glubdudrib and Japan. And last part, we have a voyage to the land of Hindhams. Now all these names or the titles are very different, because through these titles or through these names here, Swift wanted to show us many things: the hypocrisy of human beings, the behavior of human being in certain conditions, and how human being boast of many things against the nature. You find these threads in this Gulliver's Travels. And when you look at the whole works as a four part, there are basic three themes he explored. Actually many themes are there, but basic or principal three themes we find in Gulliver's Travels. Very first, as I have already discussed, that it is a harsh satire or comment on the government, its way of working, differences between religions. All these things he manipulates in Gulliver's Travels. Second major theme, we have man as a corrupted animal, and number three, we have ancient versus modern controversy. So these three basic themes are inherent in Gulliver's Travels. Now dear students, if you look at these themes, you find that still these themes are applicable to our society. You find there is differences in religions still today, and he explores it at an extent in Gulliver's Travels. You have this kind of European government in Gulliver's Travels, especially you have second part, that is voyage to Brobdingnag, and you find in voyage to Brobdingnag how the race of these tiny people, we human beings, are small against the nature, because he shown there are the nature is a very large kind of entity, but we become very small against nature, but still we boast that we overcome the nature. Many things he explores, and he shows here in this very four parts that whether man is inherently corrupted or he became corrupted later? What is the difference? Or he gives this food for our intellect, that we should think on whether man is inherently corrupted or he corrupted in the way of life. What is there? So he very vividly talks about this corruption. Second theme. And we have third theme, that is there is always or frequently we find in society the controversy between ancient and modern. Many people think that ancient things are great, and many people think that the modern things are great, and there becomes the controversy. So it is very simple, that the clash between old and new, the clash between old generations and new generations. So many things he covers in these 4 parts. So his fame as a writer, his fame as a great satirist rests on this Gulliver's Travel, and still we read his Gulliver's Travel for pleasure, and we find many things are applicable still today. So dear students, as I already talked that he composed many essays, tracts, periodicals, pamphlets, poems, correspondences, personal writing, and he earned the fame as a great literary person in those days, and he used this power to satirize common humanity, as we already talked. So this is all about Jonathan Swift. If you need the complete list of the works composed by Jonathan Swift, please comment below in the comment section. I will provide you it on Telegram. So we have a channel called Literature Simply on the Telegram. If you need, I will provide you the complete PDF of his works. Please comment for that. So thank you very much for watching the complete video. Please like, subscribe and share our videos among your friends. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you very much.